my education here, and I love traveling abroad. Now I'm going to go ahead and discuss about what the students or who makes up HBU and what type of students we have at HBU. We have about 3,800 total students, so it's a pretty small university. We are a small private Christian liberal arts university. I think that it is small, but it's small enough to know people, but large enough to meet someone new. So not too small either. We have majority of our population from Texas and from Houston specifically, and we do have more females on campus than males. We do consider ourselves a Hispanic serving institution. However, we have students that identify as white, African American, and Asian as well. One of the neatest things about HBU is that we're definitely welcoming to individuals with different religious backgrounds. So we have students that are Baptists, Catholics, different types of Christianity. And then we also have a population that doesn't necessarily have declared a specific religion either. There's definitely a lot of ways that you can excel in academics at HBU. We have over 70 majors at HBU, but just to kind of give you an idea of the 5 popular majors, it's going to be nursing, engineering, business, psychology, and education as well. We have small classroom sizes, about 25 is going to be the average. This is a really neat way for you to have an interactive type of education. So you're going to know your professor is going to know you as well, and you're going to know your classmates, and you want to have those different types of intellectual conversations with them as well. Our professors pride themselves in making sure that students have a really great academic, whether that's in the classroom or outside the classroom. There's a lot of room for internship as well at HBU. We have 9 pre-professional programs. So if you're interested in going into med school, law school, physical therapy, pharmacy, anything like that, HBU has really great advisors to ensure that you are set up for success and that you meet those after graduation goals with HBU. The integration of faith and learning is definitely something that's in the classrooms. Like we mentioned, we want students to grow in different areas in their life, academically, professionally, and spiritually as well, and socially more than anything. Also, we have the McNair Center for Entrepreneurship and Free Enterprise. I typically would say a lot of business students are interested in this specific center, but if you want, if you're interested in nursing, being a lawyer, education, anything like that, you really can create a business through whatever field that you're going to, and learning about entrepreneurship can essentially provide that for you. Like I mentioned, growing spiritually is one way that you can also grow at HBU. We have university-wide discipleship where students, faculty, and staff come together. I like to preface that we're really a strong community of individuals, and it's very much an inviting community as well. We have weekly convocations. You can think of these as mini TED Talks, where people from all over the world will come and discuss different types of mental health care topics, business topics, really anything that's a wide spectrum. We definitely consider ourselves a serving institution, so we have a lot of community service opportunities. That's how you can also not only grow spiritually, but as an individual. Providing those different types of services essentially can also lead you to have different types of experiences and also build your connections in different types of places in Houston or outside of Houston as well. We have parachurch ministry opportunities. So if you like to grow spiritually, you can through these different types of organizations. We have Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Campus Outreach, Baptist Student Ministry as well, just to name a few. Some of the areas that our students have community service is locally at the beach, at Beach Reach, they'll go out to Galveston and help clean up the litter. And then also Houston Week, we also have mission trips to Croatia and the Passages of Israel as well. Like I mentioned, we are a community and an authentic one for that. We love, love, love getting together, having seafood broils. We also just have that type of Americanized food where it's hamburgers, pizza, and the grill, the works. There's also a lot of diversity on campus in Houston in general. There's a lot of diversity, and that ensures that we are a diverse institution as well. Residential dorms, this is specifically, just so you know, if you live outside of 50 miles from HBU, you are required to live on campus for your first year. If you live 50 miles close to HBU, you're not required to live on campus. But just know that if you decide to live on campus, it's definitely a really great way to get involved at HBU. I definitely believe that the involvement in college is essentially going to ensure that you have a great college experience. So the more that you're involved in college, the more you're going to be able to build connections with people and just really connect with yourself individually as well. Another way to do that is through intramural sports. If you love to play different types of sports, I encourage you to look into intramural sports. It's a fun way to disconnect and connect with others. Also, just have fun. You can play dodgeball, kickball, softball, soccer, really anything. And it's you playing against other students at HBU, not necessarily against other universities. We have over 70 organizations on campus where students can excel, whether it's academically, culturally, or professionally. So just to name a few of our organizations, we have the Hispanic Student Association, the Black Student Union. We also have the Fellowship of Christian Athletes that I mentioned earlier. That's the spiritual aspect of it. We also have Tri Beta if you're interested in biology, and the Student Nursing Association. So our organizations really have range in different ways that you can grow. And of course, we are a part of NCAA Division One. So these are the sports where we will go against other universities. We have a really great athletics team as well, in men's sports and women's sports. Fun fact, if you are an HBU student, you can go to all of these games for free as long as they're at HBU. So it's really, really fun to go to these games and connect with other students as well. We also have tailgating events, homecoming, really, really love to be involved. Now, I'm going to go over the application process. There are two different types of application processes at HBU. The first one I'm going to go over is the traditional application process. This is the way students have been applying for years, but because of COVID, things have changed. So this is one way that you can apply to HBU. It's the completed application online at hbu.edu/apply. You have to submit your official high school transcript, and if you happen to be a transfer student, you would then submit your college transcripts. But if you're in high school, you're typically not a transfer student. Official SAT scores, ACT scores, CLT exams as well. We're typically looking for a minimum of a 1070 on the SAT and a 21 on the ACT. No application fee, so it's a free application, no essays required, and recommendation letters are optional. So this is one way to apply to HBU. This is another way that you can apply to HBU. We have adopted the test optional application process. We know that a lot of students haven't had the opportunity to test because of COVID. So this is another way that students can apply. It looks different for every university. Just so you know, every university is completely different. Some of us might have similarities, but this is the way that HBU accepts test optional applications. So it's the completed application for free at hbu.edu/apply. We need your high school transcripts. On the application, there's also an essay on there. It is a prompt. So we essentially want to know 150 words to 300 words maximum. So basically a small paragraph of why you believe that you should be at HBU and what type of opportunities you can have at HBU. And just really preface to just think about that question. And I know that might be, oh, that I'm looking too into the future type of question, but you really want to, when you're college searching, you really want to know what that university can provide for you and if you really feel that you can fit in also. So if you need assistance with that, definitely here to assist you. We also encourage students to submit recommendation letters. 1 or 2 is typically going to do the job. We don't need more than that. And of course, we do not have an application fee for the test optional application process either. These are some important dates and deadlines. It's past August 1st, so you haven't applied yet, please apply. It's for free. October 1st, we have rolling application decisions. So just know that each month HBU is reading applications. October 1st, it was also the opening date of FAFSA. So if you haven't completed FAFSA, now is the best time to do it. You don't want to wait for the last minute to do FAFSA. We are also having different types of FAFSA presentations. If that's something you'd like more information on, if you need assistance, we're here for you as well. November 1st is our early application deadline. So if you apply by November 1st, you will have your academic decision before the end of 2020. All of our admitted students will receive a scholarship, and I'll go ahead and discuss scholarships pretty soon. If you happen to be admitted by the November 1st deadline, by December 1st, you'll know your application decision, you'll know your scholarship, and you'll also know your financial aid awards. So it's super important, like I mentioned, to submit your financial aid and add HBU on there. So all you have to type in, it's at the end of your application. You can type in Houston Baptist University and it would send this to us as long as you press submit. If you have not added HBU, you can always easily edit your FAFSA to add us on there. March 1st is our priority deposit date. So typically students, if you know that you're going to be committing to HBU, you're going to want to submit your enrollment deposit of $200 as soon as you can. It's essentially going to allow you to register early for orientation and give you early access to registration. If you're anything like me, I love to just ensure that I have the classes that I want, that the specific times and all that. So I made sure to deposit early. May 1st is our deposit deadline. Essentially, a lot of students from all over the world will know by May 1st where they want to go, and they'll post it on social media and all of that. So it's a national candidate reply date. But if you happen to kind of, be in between 2 universities by this date, I honestly think that that's okay. You just typically want to know by that time. So there's a lot of ways to finance your HBU education. As I mentioned earlier, as long as you're admitted to HBU, you will receive one of these scholarships. They really range from $32,000 up to $92,000. This is every year that you're at HBU. This is going to be based off of your GPA, class rank, SAT, or ACT scores. If you happen to have been test optional, you are still eligible for one of these scholarships. So however you apply, as long as you're admitted, you will receive one of these scholarships. And we will look at every single detail on your application and through your transcripts and all of that. So once you've been accepted to HBU, it's important to submit and review your financial aid. Schedule a financial aid appointment with HBU. So you already know you're admitted, you know your financial aid. Let's talk about your financial aid. A lot of students, we are a private institution. So a lot of students off the bat will say, hey, you know, HBU is pretty expensive. But if you haven't had the financial aid appointment with us, that's not fair to say. So we definitely want you to have that conversation with us. We're completely transparent whenever it comes to how much you essentially would have to pay out of pocket, if any. So we want to have that conversation with you. Paying that enrollment deposit that I spoke about, it's $200, and that goes straight into your HBU student account. So that's like a prepayment, if you ask me. Apply for housing. It's important that you apply for housing if you're living on campus or off campus. We want to know that students have a place to live. We know that there's been just a lot of hurricanes around Houston and local areas. So we just want to ensure that students always have a safe place to live. So we want to know a specific, like we want to know that you have a safe place to live. Financial, we also need your final high school transcript. We want to know that you've graduated. So we need that final high school transcript. It is so important that you send that in. We're also needing the bacterial meningitis vaccination. This is for every Texas school. It's the law. So we encourage you to have that vaccination as soon as you can. Attending orientation, it's very, very important. That is our one of our big events, welcoming you to HBU. It happens in the summer after you graduate from high school. And submitting your dual credit and AP scores is going to be super important. We want to give you that credit where it's due. Now I'm going to discuss scheduling a visit with HBU. We have a lot of in-person visits. We're also open at HBU. So if you want to come Monday through Friday for one of our campus tours and one of our information sessions, you definitely can join us. We have them at 10, 2, and 3 each day. But if you say, you know what, I'd rather go on a Saturday, we have November 14th coming up for our students. And you can always go to hbu.edu/visit to hear more and see more about our visits. Of course, we are in coordinates with the CDC, so we are, you know, requiring masks on campus, social distancing, all of that. We had a really, really great preview day on October 24th that just passed this week. And we're going to have another one in February. Everyone was safe. It was really, really great to have some families on campus. So I encourage you to come in. We are doing the most that we can to ensure safety on campus. If you feel a lot better attending virtual events, we definitely have a lot of virtual events. I need to update this slide, but there are additional dates on our website, which I will be sharing our website, which is hbu.edu/visit. That way you can attend one of our virtual events. Another thing is that I encourage you to follow us on Instagram. On Tuesdays, we have a student takeover. So we have a takeover Tuesday by different students from HBU, and they just share their whole life. You can ask them questions about literally anything, of course, appropriate questions, just pertaining to just student life in general. It's really, really neat to just see different perspectives of different students as well. Wednesdays, it's more of a professional setting where we will discuss financial aid, scholarships, you know, the application process. So more structured on those days. But we do a lot of fun giveaways of gift cards. We've had recipients of scholarships as well. So follow us on Instagram is what I'm saying. We do a lot of fun giveaways. Of course, if you're under the age of 18, I just ask your parents, but it's a social media platform for a professional, and it's all professional really. Of course, please feel free to contact us. This is our general admissions number, but it's honestly best if you contact me. As you already know, I'm your admissions counselor. If you didn't get a chance to scan, you can definitely do so now. And we're pretty much, that pretty much wrapped up our presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask Ms. Jackson, and then she'll just let us know. And we're definitely here for you to help you through anything that you might have questions on.
So yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and then I'll relay them. I have a few questions while we're waiting.
Okay.
So you talked about being test optional for this year. Due to COVID, are y'all considering doing test optional in the future, or is the plan once SAT and ACT opportunities have opened back up, y'all go back to your original admissions plan? Is there talk about that?
Yep, that's a really great question. That is that's still in the talks. We've actually have had a lot of great applicants to do the test optional application process, but they haven't had a decision set in stone for fall 2022. As soon as we have something set in stone for fall 2022 students, we will be communicating that through email.
Okay. And it says the $200, this is our participant asking, is the $200 admission, when would be the last day to pay it? So the fee to do the admissions,
yep.
What would be your last opportunity to pay that?
Essentially, you want to do that as soon as you can. But we do have students in the summer, deciding, hey, I really want to be a part of HBU, or sometimes they'll have their mindset on another university and they'll somehow attend one of our events and they say, I'm not going to that other university, and they come in the summer and join us. So typically the summer, you don't want to wait too long because there is a process through everything, but just know that you have till the summer.
All right. I don't think you mentioned the cost of attendance. You kind of talked about the scholarships, but what is your estimated cost of attendance for a year?
Yep, that's a great question. So we do have tuition and fees, which it's honestly, it's about, I don't want to ballpark numbers, but it is on our website because we have to put it on there. But typically students do not pay that amount because not all students live on campus, and then everybody has different financial aid and different scholarships. I've had students that pay $0, but then I've also had students that pay $200 monthly or $300. It just really depends on your financial aid package, your scholarship package, and what payment plan you choose, because HBU has up to 8 months of payment plans that you can do. So it really depends. That's why we also have those financial aid appointments, because it can look different for it. It really and truly looks different for every student. But to kind of ballpark it, I'm going to go ahead and search that amount. I know that we just had we just updated the ones for fall 2021. So the tuition and fees for living off campus, it's going to be $34,500 for a year. But typically students, I can assure you that you will not pay that. I can really assure you that you will not pay that for the year.
Okay. All right. As you talked about the scholarships, and if they go in as test optional, that they still have opportunity to the scholarships. However, do they have more opportunity when they submit an SAT score for scholarships, or is it the same? Do they have the same opportunity as someone who did or didn't submit?
Yep. When we say we're looking at really everything, they've created a way to ensure that students will be placed in the academic scholarship that they're eligible for. So that everybody will have the same opportunity to each of these scholarships.
Okay. And then my last question is, as far as sending their high school transcript, so we send, typically we send through an electronic means if we have that option. They do request a Naviance, but we don't use Naviance's system to send out our transcripts, so our registrar does that through, and I don't know if, I know our Texas public schools do TREX as their method, but I don't know how y'all prefer to accept transcripts.
Honestly, we accept transcripts through Naviance, TREX. If the counselor wants to send it to my email, they definitely can do so as well. At least for the initial part. Of course, the official transcripts, those can be mailed off or set or uploaded. By any chance, are you on our Slate profile? Do you have a Slate profile with
No.
HBU?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I can send you on how to do that. That way you can create a application with HBU, and we would send you, and if you want to add other counselors, just different updates, and also, really much different updates and where your students are. It's a whole thing. It's honestly really great. And it also is a way that you can really just upload them if you want.
Okay.
But we accept transcripts, however.
Yeah, our registrar manages our transcripts because we do have, if they owe fines or fees with us, they get held. Our
Okay.
registrar is our main person, so counselors don't send transcripts here.
Okay.
So she manages that whole process. I was just wondering because sometimes schools let them self-report their transcript or academic
Oh,
record.
yep, they definitely can do that too.
So can they upload because they have access to unofficial transcripts in Skyward, and so can they upload an unofficial for admissions for y'all?
Yep, they definitely can
Okay.
upload an unofficial.
Okay, sounds good. And that's to their portal. Once they do their application, they'll get an account and they can upload it to that.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, sounds good. All right, we had somebody join in at this point, and we're in the question portion. So we did record, and we do have permission to post that. So as soon as I can get that edited and postable, we'll put that on the College and Career website. But we will welcome questions in our chat, and we can relay those questions if you have them. And that was the last of mine.
Definitely.
Nothing else has come up in the chat so far.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, if anything comes up, thank you for joining. I just want to introduce myself one more time to the students that just showed up. My name is Elise, and I am your undergraduate admissions counselor. So I'm here to really help you through your whole application process. I'll go ahead and also put the QR code. That way, if you'd like to ask me anything in specific, you can do so with this QR code. It was such a pleasure. Please let us know how we can assist you in any way. We're also having just different types of events, virtually and in person. We're also having different types of webinars for students. I know I'm going to have a game night soon, virtually. So let us know how we can assist you. All of these visits can be through hbu.edu/visit, which is VISIT.
All right, let me give them a few more seconds if we have any last minute questions, and then we will conclude. All right, I'm not seeing any come through. It's usually when I say, when I say conclude, that's when I get the questions, but I'm not seeing anything come through.
That is okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and have a blessed one.
All right, thank y'all.
Of course. Thank you. Bye-bye.